Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Mase. Find me on Twitter at CaliKing49er17. This is the IDP Hunter podcast on the RPO Football Network. You are locked in today. Very, very special guest. This guy's got a CBS receipt of different career honors. Linebacker, safety, outside linebacker. This guy plays literally everywhere on the field. We'll show you on the tape. Micah Cretsinger, a.k.a. Mr. 6 for 6, Mr. Home Run Hitter, Mr. House Call. What's up, Micah? Thanks for coming on, bro. How you feeling today?
Man, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. I'm feeling pretty good. Training right now and making sure my body is in peak form going into camp as much as possible.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll just start off. We'll go back in the day, man. Take it back to high school. You were a 3-sport athlete. What sports were those? And then out of those three, were those, I guess, was football your first love?
So actually, going back a couple years, like soccer was my first love.
Oh,
And
okay.
so yeah, I had some of the footwork down in that, and I was faster and more athletic than a lot of the kids, so it just came easy to me. And then I learned how to play football, and then football kind of took off from there. But the other two sports I played in high school were basketball and track. And so, everyone thinks they're going to play basketball. Most hoopers think they got a chance. And then, I stopped growing. And then my mom made a good point like, there's probably a better chance of you getting the football scholarship, than a basketball scholarship at 6 foot. So I was like, you know what? It's a great decision. So,
No, for
but
sure.
I
Hey,
always love football.
for guys like me that are like 5'9", bro, we don't have a chance in any sport. So no, I feel you on that. It's crazy to have a guy that's 6'2" and like built and stacked like you are, be like, yeah, I don't know if I was really big enough for that, because, bro, we see your tape on the field and you look definitely big enough to play the sport of football. So, what was your initial recruiting process like? Were you recruited for any other sports? And did you learn anything from that process?
So I was an under recruited guy coming out of high school. My senior year, I had no offers going into my senior year, and then I picked up Cornell, but my SAT score wasn't high enough, so I couldn't get in.
Because
Uh,
Cornell's Ivy League, right?
yeah, and you had to have a certain SAT requirement, but
Oh,
I
okay.
was close, but I didn't hit the requirement. But so I kind of had that off the table, and then I ended up having a couple of D2 offers with Davenport University, Northwood, and then Saginaw Valley, and then kind of took a visit there. I went to a couple camps there my senior summer, and they really liked how I moved. They liked how my leadership skills while I was just talking at camp and like just trying to encourage everyone else because everyone's trying out there to do their best. So that was just kind of that's kind of who I am, just kind of bringing the best out of everybody. So they liked that, and so they came to my school and they recruited me all my senior year, and yeah, I love the facilities. I love the coaches that recruited me, and the players are awesome. So I decided to ultimately go with Saginaw Valley.
Yeah, for sure. Was their scheme and concept certain that have like a pull or influence on you, or did you just overall like the coaching and like the culture, and you had a familiarization?
I think I like the players like the most. Like the coaches say, you want to go spend time with players because coaches can end up leaving at any point, and that's
Facts.
actually what happened. So,
Oh, really?
yeah. So going in that year, I signed my national letter of intent, and then like a week after the coaches left.
No way. What
Yeah,
was that
so
like?
well, that was a shock because like that was like one of the first times where like a coach that you actually like that I actually liked left before, like I guess before I started playing, while I was playing, whatever. So
Yeah,
um yeah, that was definitely a weird experience, but that was like my first like, oh, college football is a little different because you know the whole coaching staff could just leave all of a sudden after they said like they recruited this big group. Like we had like 40 kids in my class, so like they got a big group, and then they just left. So that was definitely a different feeling for sure though.
that's got to be crazy, because they're like, all right, man, here's our scheme, here's our concept, this is our culture, this is our mission, this is what we're trying to do. And then obviously you know them from the familiarization of going to their camps and stuff. And then, I mean, like you said, coaching can just be a revolving door, and they either get a better opportunity or something happens. And then at that point, it's just like you said, you in the room there, and you're like, man, where can I fit in? What am I going to do here? But judging by your film and your stats and just the way you are right now, man, I can tell that you definitely made the most of it. I talked about how you got a CVS receipt of career honor, so I'm just going to go over a couple of them. Cliff Harris Award finalist, D2Football.com Elite 100, All-American First Team, and a couple spots. You even ran track and did really well in that. Like, how do you kind of carry yourself on the field to be able to be so versatile, or is that just something that comes natural to you?
I think it comes natural, and a lot of it just comes with speed. And so, being able to run track since I was in middle school, like really just helped me because not only was I learning how to run properly and actually like taking time to learn how to run and use all my power and unlock in different parts of my body, like using my hips, using triple extension, um, just being able to apply those things into football and then making me a better athlete. So, then I got a little bigger in high school, like my junior year to senior year. I got up to 225, and so like my senior year I'm 225, and then I just got done with a great track season, so I was like, let me play a little bit of safety.
Ooh, 225
So,
safety? That is not fair in high school, bro. I know you were killing them.
oh, definitely, I was coming down. I was hit sticking. I was getting interceptions. I had pick sixes. So yeah, no, it definitely helped out my game. And so when I got to college, I thought I was gonna play safety because that's what I played the majority of my senior year.
Mhm.
But then the coaching staff said I was going to be a linebacker. So I had played a little linebacker in high school too. So again, that was like nothing that was too crazy for me to do because I'd kind of basically did it all. Played on all three levels, both sides of the ball in high school. So it ended up working out for me really well.
I was gonna say, I mean, you still do. Like I said, here in a minute, we'll get to the film. You're 6'2", like 240-ish, right? Where does that blazing speed come from, bro? Because honestly, when you get a pick, like you look for lanes, bro. Like normally the defense will try to, or sorry, the offense will try to cut you off, and you're like, nope, and you got that one step, and you're like a running back, and you find that lane. Like, bro, it's crazy. Where does that speed come from?
It's the track and like a lot. I think part of it is I lived in Africa for a little bit when we were doing some missionary work, and so like we played a lot of soccer and like it was a lot of running, so it was a lot of sprinting. So like I honestly think it came like the genetic part came from that, and then I got back to the United States and I started running track in sixth grade when I was doing some of the summer rec camps and just trying to put myself in front of the coaches at the high school at that point. So uh yeah, so then I ran track for my team from seventh grade all the way to my senior year
Oh,
of
wow.
high school. So that's where that really comes from. And so whenever I feel like I have a step on anybody and that slight moment of hesitation, like football's a game of inches. And so if you can have that one little moment where you're still accelerating but the offense is slowing down,
Mhm.
that just helps out in my favor. And then it helps me find lanes because I'm confident in what I can do.
Yeah, for sure. Really quick before we dive into the tape, one last question: those missionary visits and stuff. Is the church something that's like really like internalized into you? Are you like your faith is all you? Like, what did those trips teach you, and what did you go on?
So I went when I was a young kid, um, really from when I was one till about seventh till the end of, my fault the beginning of my sixth grade year.
Mhm.
We were traveling, and so we would spend a year somewhere
Wow.
in some countries. Like we were in Papua New Guinea when I was really young. That's the youngest I remember being on a trip. And then we come back to the United States for a couple months. Then we go, to Africa, and we were in Guinea, West Africa, me and my family. So yeah, just being able to learn in all these different spots and seeing different cultures. I mean, it's definitely helped my life and my experiences and being able to um relate with different people just because I've seen so much from a young age. So I think that's helped me in locker rooms, um, being in a leadership role. Like I think all that ultimately has, helped me in the long run. And then this missionary, like just my faith, my parents instilled faith in me when I was a young kid. Um, and then going on these trips and hearing my dad talk and being able to hear what other people believe in, like it's kind of eye opening because you're so used to uh certain things you learn in the church, and so then you get to kind of broaden your horizon and be like, oh, so this is what they believe in. Okay, let's bring in a little bit of what we believe in, and you get a good honest conversation in that. So that was cool to see for sure.
Yeah, especially at a young age, man. When I was 18, I enlisted in the U.S. Army, and they shipped me over to Italy, dude, for 3 years. So I got to see that, Germany, Prague, Czech Republic. And I mean, obviously, you went around the world a lot younger age, so it must have been very humbling and like crazy to experience that. But just seeing, like you said, other cultures, other foods, seeing how other people react to things and stuff, it makes you very, I don't know, a lot of humbling feelings there, and just like respect all around, not for yourself, but the entire world around you. So you majored in exercise science. Can you tell us what that is?
Yeah, it's the movement of the body and just learning how the body moves, and so um like you had to take some biology classes, had to take some kinesiology classes. That's what the majority of it is after your first 2 years.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, just learn how the body moves. And I like, and me being an athlete, I want to when all this is done, I want to be able to open up my own gym. So
Okay.
whenever football is done, like yeah, I want to open up my own training spot, and bring in a couple of my friends and uh, a family that might have some kind of experience. So, but I met a lot of good people up here, so I definitely have a good network of people I could hit up when I'm done.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I was going to ask. You trying to be like a personal trainer for a team or like an exercise psychologist or something? That's really cool to kind of segue through afterwards, right? And have a life after football that still kind of involves football, or at least kind of what you've been doing your whole life, which is just being insanely active, right? All right.
Yeah.
Well, enough of the chit chat here. Let's get to the film, and let's see what you do here. Go ahead and walk us through this play.
All right. So we're in the quarters concept right here.
Okay.
I know that the tight end is not, or the tight end to my side is blocking, so they got a max protecting, so they got two routes. I know that there's no one running routes from my side, so I know I can go to the hash. I can flip my butt to the sideline because I'm kind of playing it like a cloud corner.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but then I start climbing once I realize that there's no shallow routes coming my way. So, and I know in college especially, like routes have to hit on the hash or the numbers. So I'm just kind of on the hash +2.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Shout to Coach Pruitt for that. And then I felt like the ball was way farther than it was. So
Right? It looked like it. You had to go up there for it, kind of.
yeah, so I reached up with one hand and I pulled it in, and then uh, I tried to run. I knew that the dangerous guys were at the top, so I tried to cross field so they wouldn't be able to run me down. Then, I had the best blocking defense in the world. I'll always say that. So,
Well, I was just about to say they squared up like it was a kick return and made you a wall right there on the 5 yard line, bro. That's
bro,
awesome. That's great.
they're awesome. Brandon Rawls, Leonard Henry, Carson, Adam, like all my guys, like they all block, and we talk about all the time. So no, I'll never be able to thank those dudes enough.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so here, so as I was telling, or we were talking about earlier, you literally line up everywhere. And if you're here watching on YouTube, you'll see that he plays outside linebacker, he plays nickel. I guess you kind of play like a free roaming safety at some point, right? Kind of just saw that too. Like you really play a little bit of everything. Is Mike linebacker calling plays and stuff? Is that something that you've done and that you take pride in, or are you just trying to like get on the field wherever you can get on?
I mean, I can play anywhere. Mike for sure. I love Mike. Mike's probably my favorite position just because I love being able to put people in the right position to make
Mhm.
plays, and then I love running the ball down, so making big hits. But I think the Mike position is probably the most important position on the entire field in terms of leadership because you got to make sure that the defensive line is set. Then you got to make sure the back DBs are
Mhm.
set, and so. Just making sure everyone's on one accord, and I feel like I do that at a high level.
Oh, 100%, man. I agree with you there. So, what's it like? You were a safety in high school. You kind of do play deep sometimes. What's the field view like as far as trying to read an offense from the safety spot where you're, a little bit farther back to the outside to the middle? Like, what are your kind of different reads there?
Uh, Depending on what I have, so like if I was at safety here, let's say I'm to the boundary because I'm a bigger backer. I mean a bigger player.
Uh huh.
So if I was at back safety, I'm looking 2 to 1. and then if two is stalking, then I know that I gotta fit outside of them because I know the mics run to the C, and
Mhm.
so I gotta set a tight edge, make sure that running back sees my eyes or quarterback sees my eyes, and then I would set an edge there. At outside, I'm reading the tackle, um, but really I can back up. I really should have backed up here, played about like three or four, and then do tackle the guard. If I get anything to me, I usually know it's a run my way. It could be play action, boot to the other way, but just with how they had the tight end, I wouldn't feel like it's that way. So
Yeah. Especially because you had the motion to the other side, right? Like that fly stuff. And you got a lineman coming out to kind of hit you there. You see it, sniff it out, and attack.
yeah,
That's really
so
good. Bam.
yep.
Woo! Way in the lumber. I shouldn't even say attack, bro. For sure. All right. So here's one where you're kind of playing the middle role in a hook flat zone, or sorry, hook curl zone.
hmm
And eyes on, eyes on. Where are your eyes right now? You're reading the quarterback the whole time? You're looking at lineman?
I'm looking at the QB right now, and so I knew that we had a blitz on. We had a sim pressure on, so the boundary backer blitzed, and so I knew I was going to replace him. And then once I saw the concept, I saw it was mesh, and so tried to just stay at the top of the cone because I think it's his third. Oh, this is first, but it was like 3 minutes left in the half or something. So
Oh, okay. So it's like 2 minute drill almost.
yeah, basically. And so yeah, I just get back on the hash. I read. I realize that I can see the two coming in right now.
Yeah,
So I
right
got
across now.
mesh. So I'm trying, and so I know there's going to be the cone either from that either wide receiver, one on each side,
Mm-hmm.
and so and the tight end ultimately ends up staying at the top of the cone. So I know I got help behind me, so I can jump any of these underneath routes. And then the pressure was good from the backside. So then I just went, took the ball, and you know, do what I do.
Right, for sure. But what's crazy to me is that the concept, right? Like you're starting, you're acting like you're in blitz, you pop back, you're doing your jump great. But while you read the quarterback, all three of these guys, like you have all of them right now in the bag. So the quarterback's being pressured. He tosses it up almost like, oh, please. And bam, bro, there you are, grabbing it. High step, cutting up the field. No one's going to catch you. Definitely not that quarterback. Bam, bro, touchdown. That's crazy. Do you pride yourself kind of like I don't I've heard players in this series when I've been interviewing guys, they're like everything comes pre-snap. Like you got variables and you're looking around and you're looking where the guys are. And then once the hike happens, that's when it's all instincts. Is that how it is for you?
Yeah, like a lot of it is just a lot of film work. I pride myself on being one of the hardest workers in the film room, regardless of where I was. If I was a freshman or if I was a senior, like I was always one of the top guys in film watching. So I knew a lot of it came from that. So
Yeah. Did you guys have a dedicated film room? Did they give you guys stuff to study on the side when you were at home? Like, how did you kind of go about that? And are you a very critical film watcher of yourself?
definitely, I critique myself more than any coach would critique me because I know what I'm supposed to do on every play, and there are some plays where I might not be as physical as I want, or I don't make the play like how I need to. So I'll be critical of myself, but everyone will be like, "Oh, you do your job," but sometimes that's what great players want to do. They want to make the play. So within um their job in the scheme,
Yeah, when the game's on the line, the great players want the ball in their hands, right?
definitely.
Okay, so here you are sliding over. Boom. Dude, your concentration off that tip game is nuts. And then you're running like Saquon down the sideline, too. Like, I mean, sorry, I don't want to say Saquon put you on like that, but like, bro, the just pure instincts. Look at that. Oh, my goodness. Let's run this one back, too. Go around. You're really good at taking those angles and really deciding on when you're going to commit. Very
Yeah,
underrated trait. Oof. Okay, I know he felt that one. Hold up. For the viewers at home, right here, you got to check this one. Holy cow! Sliding, he's looking, no cheating. Fill the lane, bam, deliver the hit. Holy cow!
yeah. That quarterback ended up being out for the rest of the game.
Oh, after that hit,
Yeah.
oh man, that's unfortunate for him, but a crazy good play by you there. And okay, all right, quick question, bro. So you've got hands for days, right? Like,
hmm
obviously, it's the proof is in the pudding, it's in the tape. I know the scouting report said you probably shouldn't throw it out number 6, but they kept trying you. Do you do you got any thoughts of that? Like, is that something That you're just like, no, I'm coming down with this ball regardless?
Yeah, and if I'm being honest, it's from me playing. I played slot also in high school, and
Mhm.
so like I always felt like any ball that was in the air was mine. And so, like, I kind of just took that mentality to defense because why can't I not? They always say defense plays defense because they don't have hands. Like, especially like
Right.
defensive backs, they don't play receiver
Yep.
because they don't have any hands. So I'm just trying to switch that narrative. And then I see the ball in the air. That's another takeaway. That's another opportunity for the offense to get a chance to go down and score, or I'm gonna go score and try to help us win a game. So that's my mentality when the ball's in the air.
No, for sure, man. You're the first linebacker I've ever seen that wins the Defensive Back of the Year award. I was telling you before the show, that kind of tripped me out. I was looking, I was like, nah, man, I got the wrong notes here. Oh, no, I don't, bro. And the tape proves it that you could probably play either or, especially having that big frame, man. That's pretty nuts. And you can lay the heat down too. So I know you can play in the box big time. Here we are, too. That hip movement there, man, sliding over. Look at that. Keeping the front down, coming up with a wrap. That's awesome.
Yeah, keep it square.
Yeah, for sure. So how do you ensure effective communication with your teammates during pre-snap reads?
You got to look at them. You got to make sure that everyone's on the same path. So, especially like this past year, what we would do is we look at each other, and once we got the call, we would smack the side of our leg, and so that would mean we got the call, got the communication down. So we go from coach to player, and then we communicate to the rest of the defense. I know they're about to get the green dot, so they're going to be able to talk from coaches
Mm-hmm.
from the box, but my way, like I just like seeing the coach send the signal. I send the signal to the other linebackers. Make sure the defensive line is lining up where they need to. Make sure the safeties and the corners know what coverage we're in, and then boom, let's get it because we only got like 30 seconds to get this play in.
How difficult is that, bro? Like you got a wristband, you're like, whoa, you're looking, and he's like giving you numbers, or like what kind of is that process like? And do you think that at the NFL level that having that communication aspect will be a lot easier?
I think it's definitely gonna I'm not gonna say it's gonna be easier. Like it's definitely gonna take some time just to get the wording down and then the language because everyone's got different
Mm-hmm.
verbiage.
Yeah.
But I think it like for me, I think after once I do it a couple times, like I'm gonna have it down a lot easier. So
Yeah,
it's
for
just
sure.
gonna take time. It's gonna take some experience. So.
Yeah, man, I watch a lot of John Gruden stuff and a lot of his calls. I'm just like, dude, like I understand that everything has its place, but I'm like, bro, that is that's a mouthful for the quarterback. I couldn't imagine the linebacker because I mean, you guys are the quarterbacks of the defense, right?
Yeah, you gotta make sure everyone's on the same path. So, because one like this play right here, if I don't know that's going, you know,
Yeah.
right up the middle, then we're cooked probably for a touchdown. But that
Oh,
is the
100%.
exact invitation. So
Turning on the Jets. Woo! Reminds me of Fred Warner, that chase down, and then you got the overhand arm. You're trying to strip the ball, bro. You're not just trying to bring him down. You're trying to create a game-changing play. And that just comes from IQ that, I don't know, maybe you saw some in the film earlier in the week. Maybe, the running back carries the ball like a loaf of bread when he's in space or something like that. But just still determined to come home and try to have the best possible outcome for your team.
he was tired, and so like that was a hot game, and so I knew if I got enough punch on that ball, I would have got it out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Great heads-up play. Chasing him down, man. Here you are outside again, scooting back. So, okay, so obviously you've had more than a handful of pick sixes and forced fumbles. What's your perfect big play like? Is there nothing better than getting that pick six up high and just taking it back to the house, or would you rather lay the lumber and get like a strip sack or something and have someone else score a touchdown?
It depends. I probably get the pick, but just because I know my hands are certified. Some of these
I
really
love that. Certified. Heck yeah, dude. Speaking of, holy cow!
like
Oh man.
it's only so many defenders that can catch like receivers. So,
No, for sure, for sure.
but
Real quick, you were about to hurdle this man, bro. I saw the tape and I was like, whoa, he was really thinking about hurdling him. And that's why I was like, dude, 6'2", 240, and this guy's this athletic, like right there too. There it is, coming down. He knew it immediately, throwing the arm up. Do you feel extremely comfortable coming off the edge like that, bro? Because you come quick.
Yeah. This is just some of that versatility I had. I try to take a lot of pride in my versatility, so I try to practice a little bit of everything. So,
Mhm.
like especially this season, I try to do my pass rush, just try to have a good get off, making sure that I have good hands, even though I know like that won't be my primary position, but just if I had to, um, always be ready for when your number's called in any situation. So that's kind of like my plan is if I can play some edge, put me at edge. If I can play safety, play me at safety. Like I want to be able to show NFL teams that I can do whatever they want me to do on the field.
Yeah, for sure. We see a lot of rookies. I alluded to like Kyle Hamilton a little bit coming out of Notre Dame a couple of years ago. They really put him in a lot of different places. And I'm an IDP guy. I do fantasy football. So like he wasn't like his blockbuster his first year for IDP, but they put him in a multitude of roles. And now, I mean, he's just an elite player. So I really feel like that's the best for players that come in, guys like you that aren't just tied down to one role. And it's like, okay, if I can't get it down, then that's it. Or if a team doesn't like me, that's it. I feel like you could be efficient in wherever you play, especially high pointing the ball and stuff like you do. Special teams, is that something that you're open to as well?
Of course, I played special teams my entire career at Saginaw, all 4 years. So, um, yeah, I play everything from kickoff return, kickoff, punt return, field goal block. Like I laid it all, hands team. So, um, yeah, like I'm awesome with special teams, and trying to be my best at whatever the coaches put me at.
Yeah, for sure. Can you describe a situation where your pre-snap analysis led to a successful adjustment that helped your team?
I'll probably say that the one hand pick that you saw from Michigan Tech earlier, um, like pre snap, we knew that the quarterback would look out to the boundary,
Mm-hmm.
if he wanted to throw the RPO out, and so he did it in the game, and we had to circle it on the scout card, and so we looked over. He looked over, saw that I was kind of like down toward the line of scrimmage. And so I knew once he looked at me, he was gonna try to throw it if I bait him in. So I took a step, like a fake step in, went. He threw the ball. I ended up having the wingspan to tip it up, and go score. And then we ended up actually winning that game by 7 points. So um,
So it
ended
was
up
a
coming
difference
clutch in
then.
there. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. A little bit of dust off the shoulder there after that win, right?
I was feeling good because that was the record. That was the record for interceptions for touchdowns in a year. So pick sixes in a year for D2. So
What was that like, man? Breaking records like that. How's that feel for you?
if you would have told me I would have broke that record, I would have been like, "Nah, you're lying." But
Real?
because like everyone else that was on the list is DBs, like
For
safeties and
sure.
corners. So like being the linebacker on that list is it was an incredible honor because I didn't even know till the game was over. Like we're on the bus,
Oh,
and I
really?
started getting notifications that said Mike Cretsinger broke the record or tied for the record for pick sixes in career. I mean pick sixes. So
Dang.
yeah, that
That's
was
gotta
awesome.
be sick, man. Just looking at your phone and having other people holler at you and stuff or like celebrate your success. Can you kind of peek behind the curtain on what that's been like having eyes on you, maybe in your community or like you've been talking to people like we're doing a podcast right now. What's your kind of vision going forward and what has life been like without football for you since?
Um, life. I mean, life's been good for me. I cannot complain. Uh, I'm closer to my faith with, and closer with God than I have been in a long time. I think just this taking this time off, like I'm not, like you said, I'm not in football, so usually I'd be in spring ball if I was back in
Mhm.
college. So just being closer with God. I'm training and then I go home. Like it's a boring process, but it's a process that you got to fall in love with if you want to achieve this goal that we are, um, especially being a under recruited guy, under scouted guy. Everything's got to be perfect. You got to check off so many things off the checklist, and so
Yeah.
there's a little room for error. But I love the pressure and I love the way that it gets me going. So a lot of people get stressed and get a lot of anxiety, but I turn that into excitement, and I thank God for giving me the abilities to at least have a chance to try to do this next level.
Yeah. How surreal is that knowing that you could be on an NFL team in less than a month, bro?
It's crazy. It's crazy to think about because I was just talking about it with some of the guys I trained with earlier in the week, but it's like, all right, you're on a team, God willing, I get on the active roster sooner than later. You want to go guard Jameer Gibbs, Alvin Kamara, and Saquon. That's
Real.
crazy when you put it in that aspect because I've been watching these guys for a long time, and then being able to be on that roster and being able to talk to some of these guys and learn from them would be amazing. So I mean that's been my dream since I was in fourth grade. So just being able to put it all together would be amazing. Like I'll be starstruck for sure if I first get on the team, and then after a couple hours I'm gonna be like, okay, I belong here. I belong here.
Well, for sure, man. The child in you's got to be able. I mean, this has been a dream that you've had for like the longest time, right? So to be able to like do that, like obviously it's all business, it's all work. You about your business, you're certified, right? You got the hands and stuff, but like you still have to like take that dream in and appreciate it in the moment for what it is, because bro, you've worked so hard. And like you said, you're under scouted and you feel underappreciated. So honestly, bro, I saw after we had already talked to have the interview, CBS Sports, I believe, has a top 25 D2, D3 player list, and you're on that list. Have any pro teams reached out to you? Or are you allowed to talk about that? Are you just looking for an opportunity? Like, kind of what's your mindset? What's the vibe
there? It's kind of a little bit of both. There have been some teams in contact, but at the same time, I'm just waiting for opportunity because I didn't have any visits set up. Um, well, I did have one, but something occurred there. But um, regardless, like I knew I was gonna be in the situation, me returning back to school, returning back to Saginaw. So I knew if there was a chance that I didn't have 8 interceptions in the season again, that this might happen. So um, yeah, I'm not having a ton of things right now, but there have been teams in contact for sure though.
Well, I'm telling you right now, just based on your film and how you carry yourself, your overall development through the years, and just who you are as a human to your core, bro, I know there's at least 5 teams out there that are going to be calling you on draft weekend and trying to get you on their squad, man. I'm going to close it out here. Is there anything that you want to shout out or say or anything before we wrap this up?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to my family. I know they're gonna watch this. So shout out my mom, my dad, my 2 brothers. Shout out to my people back home. They support me a lot. I know they're on Facebook and social media, always cheer me on anytime they see something about me. So I appreciate them. The Parkers, the Holmans, the Johnsons. Like they all know who they are. And then shout out to my people at Impact, my training. So. Um, they've helped me a lot, and just being able to learn from them and from a training aspect, but not only a training aspect, but the guys around that I train with, they're awesome. They give a lot of advice because there are a lot of pro guys that their journey hasn't gone how they wanted to go, but they've overcome a lot of things. So being able to learn from them has been awesome. So
Yeah, having people that support you in football, that'll come as you play, but having people that support you in life, regardless of what happens on the field, that's invaluable. And it sounds like you got a good core around you. That's really good, man. For myself, the listeners, everyone at RPO and the IDP Hunter podcast, bro, we are rooting for you. I'll be looking out for your name. Will you come back after you get that big NFL contract, bro?
oh, definitely, you guys put me on before anyone else did. So I
Hey, real
appreciate it.
recognize real, bro. You see the talent, you see it. You just got to get that opportunity and run with it, and that's what I feel like you're going to do. So seriously, thank you for your time, your effort, and just your story, opening up and sharing with us and letting us get a look into what it's like in the day of Mike.
Yes, sir. No problem. Appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, anytime, man, just reach out. I mean, I'll probably be reaching out to you. You know what I'm saying? So, all right. Hey, my name is Mase. You can find me on Twitter at CaliKing4917. This has been the IDP Hunter podcast on the RPO Network. We're out. We'll catch y'all next time.
Sir, catch y'all.